Good morning, everybody. Today is April 17th, 2022. Been a while since I've been out hiking or going to any waterfalls, or been doing a lot of remodels at the house. Kind of busy there. And we got a lot of stuff going on at work, so today was about the only opportunity that I had to get out and enjoy what little bit of springtime weather we're starting to have. So today I decided to come up to Morgan County and look for some wildflowers and waterfalls. So I got up at daylight this morning and left before the sun come up. So the first stop today was at the Middle Fork Falls, which is right down there. And it's right here along Highway 62 between Oliver Springs and Wartburg. Real easy to get to off the road. A little bit of a waterfall there under the bridge when a car just went by. Anyhow, this is the first stop this morning, and we're going to go up to Frozen Head State Park. I hear the wildflowers are looking pretty good up there, so we're going to go up there and see if we can get some photographs today, do a little bit of hiking. I'm glad you all came along today. We bought the Nikon Z6 II, pretty much my main camera now. And we got the 14 to 30 this morning for some of these waterfall shots. And I brought along the 24 to 70 f4 and the 70 to 200 Z. There's a waterfall at Frozen Head that's kind of far back off. And I wanted to use that 70 to 200 and do a little bit of test shots with that to see how it works with landscape photography. I bought the 2x teleconverter Z mount for that lens also, so that gives me a 140 to 400 f5.6, maybe catch some wildlife photography with it someday. We'll do a little bit of a review of it up here. So we're gonna get it in the car here and head on up to Frozen Head State Park. So this is the shot from the bottom there of Middle Fork Falls using the 14 to 30 f4 lens. I had to get down in the creek to get this angle. Well, I put the 70 to 200 2.8 in the backpack, and I've got my GPS unit here because I want to kind of track the trail I've gone on today, because I haven't been on it before. Kind of a hobby thing I do is track my hiking trails. And then I mounted the I got a Peak Design strap with the quick attach, so I'm carrying my camera on my side with the 105 macro lens on it. I don't normally do that, but with the 70 to 200 in the backpack, there's not really room for this. Plus, I can take some handheld shots if I see something real quick without getting the tripod out and having to drop the backpack and all that. So we're gonna try it like that today and see. So we got the equipment now, so I guess we'll just head right on up the trail. I would say that this is probably called Panther Branch. We're right here at this bridge out of the parking lot. Might be some interesting composition here on the way back. We're gonna go up here to this wildflowers we've seen by the base of this tree and see what they look like and try to get a photograph of them. Well, there's some flowers right here at the base of this tree, and I'm gonna scooch on up here, and I'm just gonna hand hold the camera and see what kind of shot I can get. So I've got it on continuous focus, and we're at 1/1000th of a second at 3.2, and the ISO is it's about, we're gonna have to go up a little bit here. It's a pretty cool composition up against the base of this tree. Everything's out of focus in the background because we're at 3.2 f-stop. So the name of this flower is the Long Spur Violet. I shot this using the 105 macro f-mount lens with the FTZ adapter on the Z6 II. The camera settings were 1/1000th of a shutter speed at ISO 1000 and the f-stop was set at 3.2. I didn't notice this when I shot this photograph, but if you look at the left flower, there's a spider sitting on top of the top petal. Wildflower photography is a little bit slower paced. You're not on a hike, you're on a walk and you're looking. And up here at Frozen Head, there's all kinds of flowers on both sides of this trail. And you just gotta take your time and look at both sides of the trail. Now I'm up here searching for these Jalcanopulbits, but I come across this clump of flowers here. There's a whole bunch of different varieties in these areas. We're right along the creek here, but these flowers are on the other side, and I'm just going to turn around and show you. There's some, I guess they're trilliums, different ones in here, and there's some compositions here. This whole hillside's full of them, pink and white. I guess the pink ones are going out because some of them are wilting. I'm not real up in my wildflower technology. In fact, I have to be truthful. I have to take a picture of the wildflower and run it through an app called Picture This to tell me what it is. I do know some of them though. Those right there are foam flowers. Anyways, I just wanted to show you that you got to take your time when you're looking for wildflowers. There's no big hurry, and that's what I'm doing today. Just meandering up through here, looking for things. Well, we stopped here along the trail. I was here a couple weeks ago, and there's a cascade I'm going to show you right back over this way across some Panther branch here. It's just a water flow coming off the side of the mountain. And this is the place that I wanted to try the 70 to 200. So I'm going to take the 105 off and put the 70 to 200 on here. And I've got a polarizer on the front. And what I did is my 14 to 30 uses an 82 millimeter thread. And this 70 to 200 uses a 77 millimeter thread. So what I did is I bought a circular polarizer from Polar Pro and an adapter ring. And it's a pretty nice polarizer. It's got knurled edges on it, real easy to turn. And that way I can use this with the 14 to 30 or the 70 to 200. And we're gonna put this on the tripod right here and get it ready. Lock it down and try to find a composition, and then I'll turn the camera back on so you can see what I've got in the viewfinder. So I've set up here with the 70 to 200 2.8 Z lens, and I'm at about, let's see, I'd say about 105 millimeters on the zoom, and I'm going to attach my remote cable release to try to eliminate all shake from this camera lens. It is kind of big. I can find a door here. I'm using the Faisal tripod today. It's my travel tripod. I didn't bring the big one with me, so I'm gonna put this remote shutter release on here. I could use the timer function, but I think I'm just gonna use the remote shutter release. So I've got a pretty tight composition here, and I've got the circular polarizer dialed in. And I'm gonna take a single shot. It's not a real pretty area, but it's something I wanted to try out with this 70 to 200. Do this again, focus. I'll focus on the foreground rocks. So again, we're at 100, almost 105 millimeters on the lens. We don't have anything else on it like the 2x. So I'm gonna go zoom in. There's a little bit of a cascade up there. See what I can do with that. Isolate that a little bit. I'm gonna show the 3 images now that I took. This first one is at 70 millimeters, and the second one will be at 96 millimeters, and the third one is 135 millimeters. The camera stayed in the same place. I just zoomed in the ring. It was a half a second at f11 at ISO 100. So these were just some test shots I did with the 70 to 200 Z-mount 2.8. It's a really sharp lens. Even when you put the 2x teleconverter on there, it's pretty amazing piece of gear. And I can't wait to use it more often in my landscape photography. So the Panther branch trail goes up about a half a mile, and you'll go by D-Board Falls, and then it takes a right-hand turn. If you keep going straight, that's the Emery Gap Trail. And I come up here about a half a mile on this trail, crossed over the second bridge, and I ran into a whole bunch of wildflowers just right here. I mean, anything you want. And I set up here and do a little composition with this one right there. As you can see, did a little focus stack on that with the Z6 II using the 105 2.8 macro lens. We'll see how that turns out in the video now. So the wind started to pick up a little bit, so I had to increase my shutter speed to 1/1000th, which made me put the ISO at 1000 also at f5.6 on this white trillium. And I was using the f-mount 105 macro. I've set up on a shot here, and the wind started blowing a little bit, and I put my diffuser out there on the clamp that I bought. It's a Wimberley product, and if you look, I'm trying to get those yellow flowers right there. I don't know the name of them, but I'll find out and put that in the video. And we're going to do a focus stack on this using the Z6 II's internal focus stacking. And it'll be an 80 shot at 3 steps. And the camera settings for this is kind of odd. I'm shooting at 1/2500th of a second, f5.6 at ISO 1000. Hopefully that'll freeze it enough, and when I put it through the focus stacking software, it'll come out looking pretty good. There's a lot of wildflowers in this area. You can just go anywhere along this trail. I don't step off the trail. A lot of people might, but I don't. Don't want to trample any of the wildflowers. Oh, I see another composition right there. I might have to go over there and scope that out. Them white flowers. The large flowered bellwort with a focus stack in camera using the Z6 II. This allowed me to get everything from front to back in focus. The focus stack program inside the Z6 cameras, and I believe it's also available in the D780 and the D850. It's kind of finicky, and it takes a little while to get used to how it operates, but after you figure it out, it really does a really good job. I usually take my focus stack images from Lightroom directly into Helicon Focus and let it handle the stacking for me, and it also does a pretty good job. So I found this other composition behind me, and I had to set up a wind block because the breeze was blowing on it. But that little composition right in there, those flowers right there with that tree in the background, the moss and everything. So I did a focus stack on that one internally. It was 99 shots, and the focus step width was a 1. That's the lowest you can get. So hopefully we got all that in focus, including the tree trunk and the flowers and the leaves. Again, we're using the 105 macro with the FTZ adapter. This is the F-mount 105 macro. And I really like this. It's a 2.8. I really like this lens. When I went to the mirrorless, I kept it, and I didn't bother buying the Z-mount one. At the time, they were back ordered, unavailable, so I didn't even bother with it. This lens does a really good job, and it works really well on the Z6 too. So these sweet white violets were focus stacked in camera, like I did the previous flower, the bellwort. And then I also took those these images into Helicon Focus to stack them. This time here, though, I used a step of 1. The options on the focus shift program inside the Z6 II is you can let it step the focus ring, large or small. I think it's anywhere from 1 to 10 are your settings, 10 being the farthest that it'll move the focus ring. So when you're doing a small object and you want to get everything in focus, it's best to take more pictures and drop the step down as low as you can afford to get it. The biggest problem with focus stacking like this is the wind, and if those flowers move at any one of those frames, then it kind of messes the focus stack up, and it leaves halos around the edges of the flowers. So it's best if you have a very still day, or find some way to keep the flowers really still. Well, we're having a real good morning. Already found a lot of wildflowers, but that one flower I'm looking for is eluded me, and that's the Jack in the Pulpit. I'm still looking for some. I know they're up here, and I've just been taking my time walking along this trail looking for them, and I haven't found any yet. I found a lot of others, tons of them down in here, just past the second bridge. So we're going to continue up the trail. We're about a half mile off the main trail turn, and we're going to go up a little bit further and see what we can find. Maybe we'll see a Jack in the Pulpit up there. Well, I finished up in this section right here. I'm going to go head back. We went up about a mile on this trail. Seen a lot of different wildflowers, and we're going to head back to the split where the trail split off of Emery Gap Trail and head up towards Emery Gap Waterfall. I know there's some wildflowers up there. I've been there before. Seen a few people out here today, but pretty quiet today.